students were thinking that it's the wrong question, but it was not. So I just clarified that. So I felt that yes, as a language teacher, we are important. It's not like it's not that they can find the schools can.
I met a teacher. I took a demo from her for the B2 level. She had great knowledge, but personally, I did not find her teaching method good. She did not know how to elaborate, how to explain. Like her thoughts were not reaching me directly. That is the thing. I know French, you know French. I might not be able to explain the things better to a kid of 6th grade, but you must be good in explaining. So this is the problem, and that is the only thing which is seen in schools among the teachers. Like, what is a replica? How well you can handle the kids. They don't care about your knowledge. They don't even know what is level B2.
Absolutely.
Yes, but you are important to them. You are such a resourceful person to them.
Absolutely.
If it would be English exam, a math teacher can also go to solve the doubts for the board exam. Kids, 10th English ka paper, okay, I can solve it because we have studied all the 5 different subjects.
Absolutely.
But they cannot play this thing with the language.
Very true. Very true. People usually, as we discussed, people usually feel demotivated, after some time. So what are the top tips that you give them to keep them engaged and to keep them up to date with the language?
I recommend them solving the worksheets.
Okay.
I recommend them to
just wanted to clarify. Are we talking about the school students or are we talking about the professionals who are doing A1, A2 level or a higher level?
Let's start with the school kids.
Okay.
School kids, they have their resource books.
Yeah.
So I tell them to practice. They have such practice book Kaiyer as well. And there are such important materials, or we just share some worksheets in order to keep in touch with the words. Like during the exams, we do share the content again just for the revision. But when we are doing it in the class, so I ask the kids one by one, like, please translate this word. We find in the class of 30 kids, there must be 2 kids, those who are wizards. They learn everything. They study in tuitions and they come. They will not even teach you. They don't even let you teach. Sorry. Always their hands are up. Ma'am, we want to answer. But there will be the average kids, those they don't study themselves, or they are just relying on the class teacher. So in those cases, what do? I generally do such activities in which I am showing the flashcards or I'm just showing the charts so that I keep on asking the same set of vocabulary words maybe after a day or 2 so that it is in their mind. Let's take an example of fruits on Monday, and on Wednesday I will be taking the examples of professions.
Right.
By this, they will be regular in the learning, and I guess somewhere it will be easier for them to memorize the words. Now let's talk about the professionals. The professionals are already busy. Let's say the people who are going to the offices, they only have time early in the morning or late in the evening.
Correct.
The rest of the time they are just working. So for them, I suggest them to make a list in their phone only, just like a to-do list. It is also in my phone. Whenever I learn a new expression or a vocabulary word, I just write it there. Or every day, I just have a task to go through those 10 or 15 important words daily. So that whenever I think I am detaching myself from the language or I'm not able to get that word, I just open it and I just recall that word. 99% of the cases, you will not forget the word if you are in the process of revising those words daily. It is not possible to go through all the words. Not possible. But whenever you are revising this list of 10 words, 20, maximum 30, they will not vanish easily from your mind. I know this thing. Right. So that is the tip which I give to them.
Amazing. I'm sure that will really help.
Yeah.
Great. One more thing, Shagun, I wanted to know. as you have cleared your DELF B2 exam, right? So, did it actually help in your teaching career so far?
Not really, because it's only been 2 months
2 months.
I have
Okay.
cleared. So,
What about B1? Let's leave B2 right now because it's very recent. So what
okay,
about B1
if
level?
I'll talk about B1, no, not really. It did not help me really.
Okay.
If I would be teaching grade 9, right now I'm teaching grade 6 to 8.
Okay.
If I would be given the classes 9th or 10th, yes, there are certain topics which are covered in B1. In
Hmm.
that case, it will be resourceful for me. It will be a fruitful level for me.
Hmm.
But to the kids till the grade 8, my A2 is sufficient. Actually, I think my A2 should be sufficient for a teacher, because there is only a past tense,
Hmm.
which is a new or a challenging topic.
Hmm.
Otherwise, the basic topics, let's say future or it again, I would like to clear certain books have only past tense in grade 8 till grade 8, and certain books they have future tenses as well. So in my school, Enchante is there, in which only passive composer is there. So I think my B1 is not much, in process,
So in
but it is not that fruitful. But if I'll talk about outside of my school circumference, if I am in touch with my other students, those who are learning professionally, then
Hmm.
yes, my levels are in touch. Like they are very much useful for me.
Correct. And as in the in the starting, when we started the meeting, when you told me that yeah, you're planning to to move to corporate now, you know.
Yes.
So do you think that B2 level certification will be useful? And what are the requirements, posted by the companies generally? Do they really require B1, B2 level, or people with the A1, A2 also can, apply?
Okay. No, actually, I was waiting for applying in the MNCs because their sole requirement is having DELF B2 minimum.
Hmm.
Some of them require DELF C1 as well.
Right.
B2 is their minimum requirement because they think B2 is a level in which a person can fully communicate. He or she is having great knowledge about the vocabulary or the different sectors, let's say education or medicine. If your job is related to the medicine, if your job is related to technical term, then there are certain vocabulary related to those
Correct.
words. So they think and they expect that if a person is coming with their B2 certificate or the degree, he or she is having an excellent knowledge.
Hmm.
So their expectations are fully on a person having B1, B2, not B1 actually.
B.
After B1 in India, the jobs, the gates are open.
Hmm.
There are opportunities. If you are a fresher, if you are not a fresher, I mean, if you have a good knowledge, if you prove yourself extremely well during the interview, so they are very much convinced from you, okay, that person is having B1, but the knowledge is amazing. But B2 is the thing which is
B2
required
is
at
really
any point.
required. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. And because I have I mean because I have never tried in corporate, and I'm mostly into teaching only,
Mhm.
training professionals and all. So I felt that yeah, B2 is actually required, but I have never actually personally I have never looked out for corporate to join corporate, I mean the MNCs and all. So that's why I wanted to just know. And one more thing, Shagun. If are there specific domains in which they ask for like B2 level, or certain companies must be like ready to onboard the candidates with B1 level also, isn't it?
Yes, they are they just want you to have the B2, and they don't ask for this particular domain.
Hmm.
Actually, the when you once you are hired, then there is a separate, what do we say, training. Training is provided to you.
Right.
Let's say if the company is related to finance, many companies are related to finance, so the terms related to finance,
Hmm.
maybe related to the medical treatment of the people or the housing,
Right.
So certain kinds of, and they tell you that you are going to be hired under this role. So it's your sole responsibility to get used to those vocabulary words and the expressions and the words.
Hmm.
That is the only thing. Otherwise, there's no such criteria.
And which is according to you the best platform where people can find, good like jobs on like in the corporates in MNCs? Which
Okay.
platform do you would you recommend?
The most reliable application is LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
You can find a number of opportunities
Right.
there, then and there. Make good connections with the people, just have the conversations over the messages, and then you can sit for the interviews.
Right.
Apart from that, there is another site, indeed.com, where I found some of the job postings. But yes, I found most of the job postings there, Indeed per, but I am not sure if they are reliable or not. So I
Hmm.
can only talk about LinkedIn
Yeah,
and this
I
thing.
think the LinkedIn is most reliable as of now.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
And yeah, I think that because I have a few friends who have like uh, made great connections on LinkedIn, and by putting some cold mails to the people, to the HRs of the companies, they have got the opportunities as well. I mean,
Okay.
they've got the hiring opportunity first. I mean, they got the chance to give the interview, and then they were like onboarded also. Some of them I know. What's one like what's the common misconception about French learning, you know, that you often come across? One misconception, I mean, one or maybe more than one misconception about the French learning.
Okay. The one misconception is I am learning the language, so I know the language.
Hmm.
This can never be the truth, actually.
Okay.
Even though I am exposed to Hindi or English since my childhood, but still I am not aware about many vocabulary words. If a person will ask me, what do you know about? Do you know about this meaning? So I will go blank. Okay. But the person will expect me, you know English? So same thing happens with me. I mean, if I am reading a novel where there are English words and French words, and if I want to, I actually practice to translate the sentences in order to test my knowledge. But if there is a word, I don't know that word. And if I'll search it, oh, this was so easy. But I never learned that word. Nobody taught me. Just the example you gave me about the drugs. I even don't know about drugs because I never studied a topic which is related to drugs or chemicals, pesticides, etc.
Right.
So there's the misconception that if you are at B2 level, you have a good knowledge. Of course,
Hmm.
you have a good knowledge, but if the people are expecting that she knows every word, B2 is expert. B2 level is expert, intermediate, upper intermediate level, you know. So that is a very big misconception that we still are learning. We are on the verge of learning. We are not experts. You must have seen many people putting them as the title French language expert.
Yes.
I want to ask, how can be a person in French? Even the natives, they don't even have the DELF C1 level. If you'll ever listen to their actual conversations, they are most into bah, they do fumble a lot, and they do block. So for an Indian person having different accent, it's not possible. My parents also asked me certain questions, certain words. Do you know about this thing? Let's say I was watching a series, Emily in Paris, and they were talking. I had to actually turn on the subtitles at
Hmm.
some point of time because I was not able to catch their accent. And they say, "La, you don't even know at this level." So I just need to elaborate and explain this to everybody that it's not easy. First of all, second, you are still under the process of learning. You can never be an expert, right? It's just you are good or you must be best.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Another thing I wanted to know, I mean, as a teacher, you must have faced, you must have, met some students, maybe school students or maybe working professionals also. Some people are very keen to dive more into the grammar. For
Mm.
example, if this is an exception, then why this is an exception? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if this is happening, or this if this word is feminine, then why it is feminine, as you shared earlier, if this pronoun is placed here, a say they, and what is the placement of say they, say we, in negation, in pronominal verbs. So why this is so? But in this example, we studied this. There was an
Mm-hmm.
accord here. In this there is no accord. So how do you deal with such kind of questions? Because as I feel that as a French teacher, like we have not studied in that, or maybe I would say we know that there is no specific reason for a particular rule to be like, like why this rule is like this. Because I mean, when I was studying, I also used to get this kind of curiosity, but I never thought that, how my teacher will feel while answering. I also
Yeah.
used to ask sometimes, but some
Yes.
people are like, they are more into like, okay, they feel that grammar is taking up their whole head. So they
Mm.
try to get like, they try to eat up the, the head of the teacher,
Mm.
who is teaching, and, and they stay puzzled a lot of time. And but I feel that if you will take grammar too seriously, it will definitely gonna eat up your head. So how do you deal with this situation as a teacher? Because I'm sure a lot of teachers must be, facing this kind of, issue. So how do you deal with it?
Personally, if such kind of questions, not if they were asked to me, I was fully into that situation when they asked me that, ma'am, why is this happening? Why this is placed here? In English, we put this thing at the back, but in French, why is this here? But when
Why
we are
the
translating,
placement is changed, why the
placement,
placement is this? Huh.
exactly, because they think that English to French, if we are translating, it should be on the same way, in the same way. But it's not actually what it looks like, it is not in the same way. So
Correct.
I just have to make them aware and understand that in some situations we cannot help. And I relate the French language to the English language. I just tell them, let's say you have a word chemist, you have a word chemist, but you don't pronounce it chemist, right? Somewhere the sounds are silent, somewhere the rules are different. In the same way, French, this word H is always silent. The biggest question is why the H is not pronounced. The nature of H is that it is never pronounced and it is a vowel as well. So, in the same exact, like I have to compare. Every time I have to compare, I have to find the appropriate example in English so that they are more comfortable in understanding because they're more used to the English language.
Hmm.
And then and there only they will be able to understand, okay, ma'am, then the problem is resolved.
Okay. So what
Mm.
about, have you ever encountered this issue with any working professional?
They are also curious actually,
Hmm.
because first of all, they are already engaged with so many things. They
Hmm.
don't have much time. Some of them I have met, they are just okay with the every okay, you're telling, we are understanding. That's all. No further questions. But some are very curious, like you have stated before. So yes, this is the same elaboration that yes, this is the only method in which we have to learn. There is no logic behind it.
Hmm.
That's the thing.
I mean, I face this almost every single day. And I have faced this with the working professionals also.
Okay.
And like the person used to, I mean, dive deeper into the grammar. And there was one time when even I forgot the complete rule.
Yes, this happens.
you
This
know
happens.
uh
You also forget sometimes.
Absolutely. And sometimes we don't have the answer actually, because, and actually I told him that, okay, I mean, I have never, gone that much deeper into this topic. So let me try to reach back to my teacher who taught me, and and let me ask from the faculties of Alliance Francaise. Maybe because they are more experienced, they are like more qualified. So let me talk to them. But when I reached out to my professor, she also did not give me any like a satisfactory response for that. And then I reached out to the native person. He though did not even bother. He just said that this is how it is. This is how it is. Okay, this you can put it here. I was like, really? How will I explain this to him? I also know that we have to do it this way, but how will I explain this to him? That why this particular pronoun is placed here.
Hmm.
I mean, grammatically I told him, but then he said, why can't we place this here? I mean, I don't know exactly what was the question, but sometimes we end up being in such situations where grammar actually takes up a lot of, like a lot of headspace, I would say.
Exactly.
That's all for the podcast, Shagun. Thank you so much for your time. I'm sure this was a long podcast, and it was a great discussion with you. I feel people will be able to get good insights out of this podcast. Those who are like into teaching field, or those who are maybe thinking about being a teacher in French teacher, and what all difficulties that they may face,
They may face, of
right?
course.
Being a teacher, or maybe somebody who is already teaching but wants to like you know uh, upgrade themselves and want more insights, so it will be helpful for them. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for asking me to be a part. It's my pleasure, and I felt amazing having such a good discussion and pouring my feelings out.
Yeah, that's always, that is always, I always welcome you for that.